there, Hollywood Times viewers. Today we welcome director, writer, author, singer-songwriter, and an actor in his own new movie, The Greatest Coach of All Time, Darren Taylor. Hey, Darren.
Well, hey, thanks for having me here.
Thank you for joining us. Also joining us today is Patty McCall, a Hollywood Times entertainment reporter who just happens to live in Tampa, Florida. Thank you, Patty.
Hi, yes, and I tell you, I'm glad I was here to go see The Greatest Coach of All Time.
Well, that's great. So, folks, I have a few questions to ask, and then once I'm done, I'm going to turn it over to Patty, who just happened to be at Darren's premiere showing of his film in Tampa, Florida. So here we go, Darren. You ready?
I'm ready. I was born ready.
All right. So, first question I got for you is, what was it like to direct and star in your own movie?
Well, it was exciting. It was nothing I could have prepared myself for. But I think I was prepared from just having 6 kids. Basically, it was like trying to herd cats. I'm on set and I'm just trying to get everyone to be where they're supposed to be when the scene is supposed to be filmed. It was a lot of fun. And, you know, I can just tell you that I'm looking forward to doing it again, but I know how I'll tweak it this time. I will definitely have more of an assistant director, which will just go around and just herd everyone together when it's time for me to yell action.
That is so super cool. Wow. Also, the movie is based on your best-selling novel of the same name. How did it go from a novel to a movie?
Well, really what happened was, you know, The Greatest Coach of All Time, I hate to blow it for the viewers right now, but I believe the greatest coach of all time is a guy named Jesus Christ, and his playbook is the Bible, which stands for Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth. So what happened was I literally was just walking from the kitchen into the family room, and I just kind of felt my coach saying, "Hey, you need to make a movie." And this is after the book was finished. And so I really, you know, you don't really just hear God speaking to you sometimes as you and I are speaking, or the three of us, but it was just one of those things where he said, "Hey, I want you to make this movie. Oh, and by the way, when you saw the Kendrick brothers facing the giant back in 2006 with your 6 kids and wife, you're going to act in it as well." So really, that's how it happened. And I remember the very seconds that I knew I was supposed to do it. And so really, it was that simple. I'm like, all right, I'm going to make the movie.
I can relate. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go ahead and take it over, Patty, since you saw the movie. And I'm excited to hear her questions and your answers.
Okay, well,
Yes.
Great. So first of all, how did you choose your starring actor, Dean Cain? How did that happen?
Well, growing up from being, well, pretty much in high school to, you know, recently, not too long ago, people would always say, you know, you kind of look like that guy who played Superman, Dean Cain. And I'm like, well, that's kind of a cool compliment. You know, who doesn't want to, you know, be compared to some dude who played Superman? So the first person I thought of when it came time to cast my father in the movie, and thank God for, you know, hair and makeup, because we made Dean look a lot older. But it was one of those things where I just knew that he would be the guy. So when it was time to cast him, we had a meeting, and everybody who I said, well, I want to get Dean Cain, everyone was just kind of giggling. They're like, how are you going to do that? How are you going to get Dean? Well, obviously, if you know the greatest coach of all time, Jesus Christ, he says all things are possible for he or she who believes. So I just reminded everyone, I said, hey, how could we not go for it when all things are possible, right? So it turns out that somebody on the crew knew someone who knew Dean because they had been in a film together. And sure enough, Dean gets the script. And I had no idea that Dean was actually drafted by the Buffalo Bills to play in the NFL. but that in preseason he blew out his knee and did not end up getting to play in the NFL. And his backup plan, I guess it's rough. His backup plan was to be an actor, and he gets to be Superman. So that worked out pretty good.
Wow, what a story. That is awesome. And all things are possible. And you just proved that. How long did it take to make the movie?
Oh, it took over 4 years. We started filming before the shutdown in Tampa. We were planning to film the movie in a little town called Dunlap, Tennessee when we first started. So the movie was going to be filmed out in Dunlap, Tennessee, and we were going to, use everyone in Nashville because, being a professional singer-songwriter out there for a few years, that's where my crew was. So, fortunately, the greatest coach of all time calls audibles. So he said, ain't going to happen in Dunlap, Tennessee. Ain't going to happen with the crew you were planning on. And it also wasn't going to happen where we finish it before the COVID shutdown. So we literally did 5 shoot dates with one crew before the shutdown. And then most of that crew, after the shutdown was finished and they opened things up again, had other things going on. So I ended up having a brand new crew, which pretty much made it a situation where, all right, there wasn't really that much money to start with. There wasn't that much money later on. And as the project kept going, it was like, all right, well, you're going to have to go with the multiplication of the fish and the loaves. You're going to have to go with the widow's jar of oil where there was barely any oil in there. So God wanted his glory to be shown from being able to make the movie where it wasn't a situation where we had more than enough. We had barely enough. And the way God put it together, the way he put the people together was just incredible because to make the first movie a football movie, you have to get a lot of people together. Well, fortunately, there were many people throughout the last 4 years that would come up to me and say, hey, the Lord wants me to tell you this, and I haven't had somebody approach me in a different state and kind of just speak some faith into me. And we call her the Walmart prophet.
Oh, wow.
I was just waiting for a meeting that I had driven out to meet someone who was going to be in the movie. And so this woman comes up to me at Walmart and says, the Lord wants me to tell you this. So I won't go into all of those details, but she basically just said, you've got a movie in your belly. And the Lord's going to use his righteous right arm to bring the right people in at the right time. And, but it's just amazing that to this day, the Walmart prophet, I wrote all of the notes down. I asked her if I could videotape what she was going to tell me, but she said, nope, no video, but you can take some notes down.
Well, that was confirmation, the way I look at it. That was really, oh, wow. So were any of the actors ex or professional football players in the movie?
Yes. Well, you've got couple of people that did some pretty good things. Michael Clayton won the Super Bowl with the New York Giants, and he also was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And so a lot of people know Michael.
He had a great part, and you used his house, right?
Yeah, well, if you want to call it a house, it's a mansion. So,
mansion.
I mean, that's what comes with when you win a Super Bowl and you're a top draft in the NFL. But also Dexter Jackson, he was the Super Bowl MVP with the Tampa Bay Bucks when they won the Super Bowl pre-Tom Brady. So he was in the movie, and of course R.V. Brown. Well, he played college football, and he's been in 3 Hall of Fames. He is really great friends with Tony Dungy, and he's just Mr. Football. So even though
he's a great evangelist.
Too. And he's been a chaplain with the Gators and mentors so many great legendary football Hall of Famers. So football has been riddled in this whole production, and then Fellowship of Christian Athletes came on board to really help us get it going. And we had Focus on the Family, which Jim Daly took over for Dr. James Dobson. And
Oh.
Jim Daly's all about football. And, his mentor, being someone who was in foster homes, his biggest mentor was his high school football coach. So,
Well, that's
yeah.
awesome. So which football field did you guys film at?
Well,
On,
we filmed on the Butterball was an actual real football rivalry going on in Pasco County between Land O'Lakes High School and the Sun Lake Seahawks. So we literally couldn't, have had the money to pay for everybody to do this. But what happened was, I was like, all right, I don't have anyone who's going to let us film this movie on a football field. So what I did was I said, all right, I'm just going to rent the Land O'Lakes football field at the Park District to film on, right? So after I did that, it's kind of funny that for years I couldn't get a football field. So finally, when I booked the field, which would not have been a great field to film at, God tends to move when you take that first step of faith. So then he steps in, and I'm having a meeting in RV Brown's truck. And we had decided, I told RV, I said, look, we don't know if we're going to have the money to finish this movie. We don't have everyone involved to finish it yet. But I said, the Lord's telling me, let's film the last scene in the movie, which is RV Brown when he's inviting people to join the greatest coach of all time's team at the end. So we ended up filming that end scene in the ocean where he's walking out of the ocean, and it was just great and it was awesome. But it was the red tide when we did that. And yeah, the red your face says it all, but it was the red tide.
I just moved here when that was happening.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
I didn't know about the red tides. Well, we end up literally the day after it was supposedly over, but you couldn't tell from the way it smelled. So RV's coming out of the ocean and we're filming, but the wind was so strong that day. The stench was strong, the wind was strong, and the audio was horrible. I had, my audio guy at the time was in the movie, and he's holding it, and we all tried our best, but we just didn't have a big budget to do it. So we're using, regular people who were just willing to help. So long story short, after that, we were going to do voiceovers in RV's truck, and I'm like talking to him about the filming, and he's like, did you get a football field yet to do this? And I'm like, no, but I rented the Park District's football field. And he's like, well, man, he's like, let me make a call. He's like, we gotta make a call here and get it done. So he called someone at Fellowship of Christian Athletes. They ended up getting some football teams together for us, which we couldn't get it done until that day. And then finally, once we ended up calling everyone together, and we order literally 100 pizzas to feed these football players volunteering to come out and do this. So then we get this footage where I'm just directing them. I want you to run this play and that play. So once we did that, there's this guy named Eric Douglas, who was one of the coaches for Land O'Lakes High School Gators. And he says, why don't we just film the scenes at the real life football game called the Butter Bowl? So
there you go. Oh
yeah,
my
so
God.
when you see the movie, God supersized what we were doing.
See, I believe it. That is an awesome story. Oh my goodness. So you do have a couple of upcoming young actors, Brandon and Lily Rose. Can you tell us what they're doing now and how their lives are changing?
Well, I'll tell you what, we didn't know this, but at the premiere, when Brandon was there, Brandon's mom comes up to me, and I knew that Brandon was doing some stuff with Disney, but I have to look up the show. I mean, sometimes I call my kids by the wrong name with, having 6 kids,
Right.
But let me just look it up here, good thing for technology here. Okay. So the show is called Meet Ultraviolet and Black Scorpion, and Brandon plays Ultraviolet's brother. So he's got a main role in there, and Brandon just signed a deal, I guess, with a management company who's got like some really big actors and actresses. So he's just a huge rising star now. and to have him playing the high school version of my character, Tommy Jackson, is cool.
Nice kid, very good looking. I
Yeah.
met him. And,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Now
And then
Lily
Lily Rose
Rose,
Smith. Yeah.
didn't
Her and her
she
sister.
have a triplet? Is she a triplet? Excuse me. Yeah, is she?
Yes, I believe she's a triplet.
Yes.
And one of her triplets were twins, I believe, in the Vampire Diaries. And
Okay.
so to be able to have a movie that was made on a shoestring budget, and I got an ad for the movie, thanking my wife, because, we, most of our kids have moved out. Most of our kids have moved out now. And, we didn't need a bigger house. So when the housing market went up here in Florida, my wife literally supported this movie so much where she was willing to let us sell our bigger house, take the equity from that house. And that's how we ended up funding the rest of the movie.
And that was Nashville then. You were in Nashville.
No, that's here in Florida.
Oh, yeah, that's here. Okay.
So it all happened so quickly. So once my wife said, let's sell the house to fund it, I was like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah, we got to get this movie done. So basically awesome. Back to the twins, my daughter's in the movie. And Miley is also the twin, Miley Smith. My twin daughters, for them to actually have seen the Vampire Diaries and know who the twins are in the show, or people to know who they are, I'm like, yep, those are my daughters in the movie.
Oh, see, that is so awesome that you and your family, behind you. Well, you know what? Being at the premiere and seeing that a sold out audience of 1,100 at a landmark theater here in Tampa, I was amazed for an independent film. Because when I got invited to it, by one of the inspirational coaches that I know on Facebook, I thought, oh, I'm going to an independent film. When I got there, it did not feel that way. I'm telling you, it was very professional. And, the crowd was out there, just like at a regular movie premiere when I was at the Chinese Theater on Hollywood Boulevard. Yes. So I felt, and so how did you feel, this being your first movie and that kind of a crowd there supporting you?
Yeah, well, first of all, I felt amazing. There's a picture that I got, a selfie from the stage with everyone in the audience, and that's my new Facebook banner, and so I love it. So I felt amazing. I was terrified to even book a movie theater of 200 people. I have to confess my faith, because this is the first movie I've done, and I plan on doing many more. And we've got a TV series in the works that we want to do called The Believers. So long story short, it was a night I'll never forget. My faith was increased that this is what God wants me to do. I'm full-time now. I'm full-time. I left my regular sales job that I had been doing, and I was the number one guy, and I'm a week removed from being full-time selling home improvement. So basically, when you think about what God does with people, he took me from being a gutter salesman. Everyone needs gutters. So he literally took my mind out of the gutter and me from the gutter, from selling gutters. But that's, with 6 kids in the family, that's what I've always done is, I've always had something that I think God wants me to work on, whether it's music or whatever, but I'll always make sure that I take care of my family. So, but once the premiere happened, it was going to be a make it or break it type situation. So not only did I have to think, okay, Lord, are you going to, have people be there when you've got the COVID-19 shutdowns? A lot of people don't like to be around other people. So then I was like, all right, Lord, if there's no one there, then I get it. I'm going to just say, all right, we finished it. That's good enough. But because it was that much of an event, it was that good, I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to just go full time with this, right?
So now you have that confirmation again. So
yes.
Awesome. Well, I know now you're planning on having these showings at churches. So can you tell us
Yes.
how this is going to work and what people can do to be able to do that?
Yes, it's real simple. We're not announcing the release date yet, but it's going to be
Okay.
announced very soon in the next few weeks. Anybody who goes to a church, or anyone who's the pastor of a church, or if you have an event that's a special event that you want to do a pre-screening, we're looking for people that are already on the Greatest Coach of All Times team. They can go to gcoatmovie.com, GCOAT movie.com. They can see a special scene in the movie that's very powerful, that captures the heart of what this movie is all about. We call it the playbook scene. But we just want everybody out there who's watching this to know that if you can get us into your church, I will personally come out to your church. I will just say hey to everybody, meet my fellow teammates. You can watch the movie for free. This is not, a movie where we've got to go through Hollywood. This is simply a movie that is more than a movie. It's a movement. All we're doing is we want this movie to be shown around the world in different languages. Ultimately, when it gets released, it will be on an app called the Believers app. And then everybody, just like the Chosen TV series, will be able to watch the movie for free. Every church is a movie theater. We didn't want to release this through Hollywood, have it go into theaters, have it be in a theater, around the country for one weekend or 2 weekends. We didn't want this to be Hollywood decides who gets to see it. I wanted this to be a movie where if you want a screening, you go to gcoatmovie.com. There's a form you can fill out. I will personally get back in touch with you, and we will set it up, and we will make that happen.
And so they'll just do some type of a love offering at the end or something.
Yes. The truth is, a love offering at the end is great. If they don't want to do a love offering at the end, I'll still let them have the screening, because I just want people to see it. But if they want to send some love our way in the form of funding that can be put in the dream tank to where we can go around the world, show this to everyone we can, I'm going to have to travel to be there. Quite honestly, I'll sleep on a couch if I need to, but you know what I mean? But I want to get all over the place to show this movie.
Well, that is awesome. And what did you want audiences then to take away and to feel when they leave after watching The Greatest Coach of All Time?
Well, I just want them to take away that, the message of the movie is don't give up. It's time for your comeback. So the first thing is don't give up. Second thing is it's time for your comeback. And how is this possible? Well, it's possible because behind every player is a great coach and a great playbook and a customized game plan. So when I go to churches, I ask people, I say, let me ask you a question. And they don't know who I am in particular, but I get introduced and I say, do we have any sports fans here? And of course, everyone loves sports, it seems. Most of the husbands are wishing during football season they were back home on their lazy boy chair instead of the chair in their church. So they'll say, well, who do you think the greatest coach of all time is? And then they'll say, me, I go to different churches, but one of the churches I go to on a pretty regular basis, Coach Tony Dungy goes there. So at that church, they would say Tony Dungy, or even at other churches, Tony Dungy, they'll say Bill Belichick or Vince Lombardi or whatever. And I say, well, those are great guesses, but let me tell you who I believe the greatest coach of all time is. He's the guy who created the greatest game of all time, and all the players in that game, he created all of them. And he's got a playbook known as the Bible. And he's got a customized game plan for every player on that team, because when you're being coached by the greatest coach of all time, Jesus Christ, it is never too late for your comeback. So that's what I want them to take away, and that they can join the team. And if they quit the team, Jesus is going to want them right back on the team.
Yes.
And I want them to take away something else. Like when I first became a Christian, when I first was invited to join the Greatest Coach of All Time's team, I wasn't sure how to bring people onto the team, because as a fisher of men, Jesus says you're to be a fisher of men, or I like to say a fisher of people. So back then, I used to have the technique of trying to cram a Bible down their throat. Uh, that's kind of like in fishing. You could try to cram the hook with the bait down the fish's throat, or I'd try to beat people alongside the head with the Bible, or I'd try to debate with them the scriptures and be like, you know what? I'm going to debate you, and I'm going to prove to you that you need to become a Christian right now. You know what I mean? Where would you go if you died today? Well, the truth is, I want them to take away that if they're already on the greatest coach of all times team and they're on the sidelines and they don't have any idea how to bring people to Jesus Christ, well, this movie is a way that you can cast out the line, be a fisherman, use your bait, use your lure. But just people that love sports, they understand that you need a coach, you need a playbook, you need a game plan. So if they can just see this as a movement that we're looking to have more people be on the greatest coach of all times team, then that's all we can ask for. Just use this movie as an evangelism tool.
Well, I tell you, I'm going to help you get it out there. I appreciate this. And hey, Judy,
well,
you're in the West Coast. I'm the West Coast. You come out here, you can stay with me.
Well, I appreciate it. You know what? I was telling Patty, I am going to be out in LA from the 27th through the 30th, and I may be extending my stay because I will be at an event called Vid Summit with Darrell Eves and a guy that is known as Mr. Beast. We're not talking the Mark of the Beast 666. We're talking about a guy on YouTube that has over 100 million subscribers, very charitable man. And I'm going to be out there learning from the mastermind who puts on this event, who is the mastermind of The Chosen. We're talking about the guy who was responsible for marketing and promoting this on YouTube. His name's Darrell Eves. So I'll be at that event. So if there's a possibility to do a screening in LA, I'm going to be there. And I'm going to be anywhere that a church is willing to have a screening at. I'll show up, I'll hang out with my teammates, and we're going to spread the word, because when this gets released, all I'm trying to do is have everybody ahead of time know that we're going to launch this rocket. 80% of the fuel gets burned up on the launch pad. So I need all of our greatest coach of all time teammates on the announcement, which will happen in a few weeks. We want everyone on social media, at their church, everywhere, to download the app. It's called the Believers app. Now, the app's not live yet, but that's how they can watch it for free. And then they can simply share it with everyone on social media, share the trailer, share the scene, and then we'll take it from there, right?
Yeah, we will be your media coverage. Anytime you need us, let us know.
Sounds good. Well, anything you can do is appreciated.
No problem.
Thank
you. And we're don't have too much time, but we're going to have I'm going to ask Darren to have another interview with the Hollywood Times. We want to talk about, you know, the song and the music video. So you got a couple of minutes. So let's talk about you being a singer-songwriter. Is there a theme song? Did you do the music? Quickly.
Yes. Well, it's not like I wanted to do everything that I did. It's just that there wasn't enough money to pay someone to do it. Yeah. So music really has been my thing. So I was singing before I could talk. I was singing a song that my dad would have me sing from the Little Rascals to the neighborhood girls that were much older than me. And my dad would laugh. I would sing, "I'm in the mood for love." I don't know if you remember it. "I'm in the mood for love simply because you're near me." So my dad got a kick out of that. So yeah, music's been my thing. So I wrote the theme song to the movie called The Greatest Coach of All Time. It was written after I wrote the screenplay. And it was a song that to me, it's the best song I've ever written, other than the love songs that I've written for my wife. But this song really captures the whole message of the movie. And I had literally been the guy who had read all the self-help books, been to all the motivational seminars. And as a Christian, sometimes we forget that everyone who's out there with wisdom pretty much comes from the book of Proverbs or from the Bible. So they're just simply taking wisdom and using it for whatever way they want to bring it to the masses. So, but yeah, so the song, I had to pray a lot about it because I was trying so hard to come up with a song that I thought would be worthy. And then all of a sudden when I was jogging, trying to lose that extra 15 pounds that every time I lose it, it seems to find me again. So I'm jogging and I'm like, Lord, I need your help to write this song because I couldn't possibly write one good enough to be worthy of this movie. So I'm just straight out of the blue. I hear, don't give up. It's time for your comeback. Keep the faith. Don't let your fear hold you back. And that hit me like a lightning rod. And then the song just, people like to say the song wrote itself, and then I've even heard people, true story, you can ask my wife, people that said, the Lord gave me this song, being in Nashville and being in the music business, the Lord gave me the song. And then I'm like, man, let's listen to it. And I'm like, well, it might sound bad, but you can't say the Lord gave you this song. But I feel that it was divinely inspired. And I don't judge anyone else's songs because the Lord can give people any song. You know what I mean? But I just know that I feel that this song was divinely inspired. So it's the greatest coach of all time. The music video is already out there. The music video is on gcodemovie.com. And that's it. I mean, I hope you like the song.
I did. I thought it fit right in with that. It was great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I'll make sure I put the link up for all the things that you've been talking about, so our viewers can get to everything. And I see your background is amazing. Cool. That must be the poster to the movie back there, and your books back there as well.
It is. I set it up. I'm really starting to try to be a guy who's going to promote everything, because we don't want the movie to not be seen. We don't want the book to not be read, and we want the song to be listened to, because really at the end of the day, this is just simply all about bringing people to Jesus Christ and helping them with their comeback, right?
Exactly. That's an amazing thing. You have any last words for us?
Oh, well, when it comes to what Patty and I were talking about at quotes, I think more so than anything, I just would want to say, if you're going to go to the website, just know that not only will this be something that will help you in your life, help you, your family, your friends, your neighbors, but I leave you with, don't give up. It's time for your comeback.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much for the words.
My pleasure.
We can't wait to promote your movie.
Well, I think it's great. All we're doing is being ourselves, speaking from our heart and soul, right? So that's all we can do. That's it.
We do appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to us.
Oh, no. This is great. I do have to say, Patty is just awesome. And you're awesome too, Judy. Yeah, I mean, I'm just grateful that you guys are willing to take the time to help get this out there. I'm just one of those guys that is just really excited that this movie is going to live on. If this was my legacy, then I'm happy with it.
Well, you have those 6 kids, and that's
well, my legacy for my 6 kids and my wife, that's a great legacy. But when I'm talking legacy, they will definitely be my greatest legacy. But when I talk about a legacy as an artist and a creative person, I've written songs that help people to feel, more love for someone they're married to or inspired. But this is really, this is the legacy that I want to leave, is just that if I weren't here today, that people could watch this movie and they could find out that there is hope, and hope is only found from being on the greatest coach of all time's team and living your life for Jesus Christ. Yes,
and it has a lot of scenarios in the movie that people can relate to. So I think you did a good thing. Yes.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your time, and thanks for having me.
Thank you.